Welcome, anime enthusiasts, to Squad Nero, the ultimate destination for all things anime. Whether you're a seasoned otaku or just taking your first steps into the captivating world of Japanese animation, you found your home. I'm Rob, aka Sage. With me today, I have Niall, aka Croco's Corner, Chef D, and T Smooth, your guides through the vast realms of creativity, epic adventures, and heartfelt stories that anime, animation, and gaming have to offer. Join us each week as we dive deep into the latest releases, explore hidden gems, and discuss the hottest topics in the Blur community. Get ready for a journey filled with laughter, tears, and the unbridled passion that makes anime a truly unique art form. Without further ado, let the anime odyssey begin. What to do, everybody? We back in this thing. Week 30, the big 3-0. Finally made it. Type thing. Hold on, golf clap real quick. Week 30. We appreciate everybody who's tapped in with us, who's sent comments, who's subscribed, who's tapped in with us on YouTube as well. We appreciate y'all. And happy to bring y'all some more content. Sadly, today Croco's Corner, aka Nile, is not here with us. So we just want to send some well wishes to him. Make sure he gets getting better and everything like that. On the agenda for today, it's not too much, as it seems like the news cycle has been quite slow for comics slash anime as of recently, especially after the anime news or anime expo that happened. I want to say last week or 2 weeks ago. So everything's been pretty calm. We got JJK. Obviously, they just dropped a new chapter. The boys recap so far since they're releasing the final episode for this season this week. We got our DreamCon expectations as well. And then our little like lineup, and we'll outline how everything is gonna go with that. And then Captain America trailer review video as well. Since that trailer got everybody gassed up, I might as well add something else in there too. Is the MCU back? But outside of that, we can get it started with the Captain America trailer review. We got some videos coming from Emergency Awesome, and I think Comics Explain, if I'm not mistaken, where Comic Explains talks about the powers of the Red Hulk. Because we were curious as to how the hell the Falcon is even gonna beat this nigga. How is he even gonna fight this nigga? Um, we got that, and then we got Emergency Awesome breaking down the trailer and what we might expect from different characters such as Gian, Carlo Esposito, and so on and so forth. So, without further ado, let's get this started.
So we starting with comics. Which one we starting with? We starting
We
with
can
the.
start off with Emergency Awesome since it goes over the full trailer.
Okay, cool. Go ahead. Want the world to see.
Wilson. Thanks for coming in.
Well, thank you for the invite, sir. I have to admit, I'm still getting used to the new look.
They said lose the mustache or lose the election. You and I haven't always agreed in the past, but I want to make another run at making Captain America an official military position.
And if we disagree on how to manage this situation, then what happens?
Work with me, Sam. We'll show the world a better way forward.
Sir, your inner circle's been compromised. Either you can't see that, or you don't want to.
What if it's a trap? Global power is shifting. You're just a pawn.
You may be Captain America, but you're not Steve Rogers.
You're right. I'm not.
Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. Marvel dropped the first Captain America 4 trailer, Brave New World, so we'll break it all down. There's a bunch of Easter eggs here. They also dropped the official poster with Thunderbolt Ross as Red Hulk crushing Captain America's adamantium shield, just to show that he's going to be fighting him during the movie. There are a couple points in this trailer where you see a little bit of Red Hulk, but they're withholding like a full-on body shot of him. Probably
Can you
to one of
pause
the
it real
last
quick?
trailers. Probably the other biggest, literally.
Did he just say his shield is adamantium now?
It can't be.
So that nah, they're gonna go like
Now,
crazy.
there's a
Cause
bunch of
hold on.
Easter eggs here. They also dropped the official poster with Thunderbolt Ross as Red Hulk crushing Captain America's adamantium shield, just to
nah, okay. So we might. He talks about it later on in the video about the adamantium, but I didn't expect for them to move so quickly into using it. They're taking the origin straight from the comics, and from the comics, Emergency Awesome is going to talk about it later, but I might as well preface it. In the comics, I guess it was a Japanese scientist who was able to figure out how to bond the adamantium to a skull and everything like that. Basically, where the Weapon X program came from. But I'll let him talk about it more because it's still kind of confusing to me. But if he, I don't know. If it looked like he got the new wings now too. I don't know if he's using the vibranium wings and he just did a paint makeover or anything like that, but it's looking good. You can go ahead though. My bad. I
show
apologize
that
for my
he's going to
outburst.
be fighting him during the movie. There are a couple points in this trailer where you see a little bit of Red Hulk, but they're withholding like a full-on body shot of him, probably till one of the last trailers. Probably the other biggest, literally, thing that you see during this is, in the background, we finally get that dead celestial Tiamat in the Indian Ocean. We're finally following up on that, so we'll talk about that later in the video too, because it's also critical to the adamantium subplot. Earlier during the year, they released some footage of this at CinemaCon that they did not put in this trailer. So in addition to all this footage, I'll talk about the stuff they did not include in the trailer, which includes an adamantium subplot. Like, there's no real talk of adamantium going on during this. At the beginning of the original CinemaCon footage, he's going to Thunderbolt Ross, who's thanking Sam Wilson in the new version of Falcon, played by Torres, for going on a mission to a Japanese dig site and recovering something that's going to be critical to the United States in their future. Basically, they're making it seem like Sam Wilson's Captain America recovers some samples of adamantium. The Japanese dig site is a reference to adamantium's origin in the comics. It was a Japanese scientist back during World War II that developed the process of bonding adamantium to someone's skeleton, which gets into Wolverine's origin story in the Weapon X program, getting his adamantium bonded to his skeleton originally. We know that we're going to see Hugh Jackman's Wolverine during Deadpool and Wolverine, so I know everybody's wondering what the connection is here, if they're setting up a version of Weapon X and Wolverine inside the MCU, if we're going to be seeing Hugh Jackman as Wolverine for a while, like how is that going to work? We'll try to address that during the rest of this footage too. But at the beginning of this first teaser that they're releasing publicly, you have Sam Wilson just in his regular civvies going to meet President Thunderbolt Ross, with them remarking on the recasting. The reason why he's saying I'm trying to get used to the look is because they recast William Hurt as Thunderbolt Ross. This is meant to take place a while after Secret Invasion, so the last President Ritson has been voted out of office in a recent election, and Thunderbolt Ross has won the recent election to become president, and that's why he's telling Sam Wilson that they told him to lose the mustache that he used to wear or lose the election, because Harrison Ford, I guess, did not want to grow a mustache for this. This meeting obviously happening at the White House itself, because there are a lot of shots in and around the White House and around Washington, D.C. As he's walking towards Thunderbolt Ross, they flash a couple different footage from different parts of the movie with him in his new Captain America suit. You see it later in the trailer. It looks just like a version of Steve Rogers' more recent Captain America suit, just mixed with his Falcon wings. But I think it's also meant to be his vibranium wingsuit that he's supposed to get during the movie too. Like, it's supposed to be made out of vibranium, which is why he's able to break all that stuff later in the trailer. We will talk about the new suit in a second. Not really clear where he's walking inside this area here, like part of some secret lab. We do hear the leader from the Incredible Hulk movie later in the trailer. Tim Blake Nelson's character is back. The leader is supposed to be the main villain of the movie, or one of the main villains. But he is supposed to look more comic book accurate during this, so I think they're saving him for one of the later trailers too. Notice the vibe of their relationship when he introduces himself, like, oh, thank you for inviting me. The way that Anthony Mackie explained it is that his Sam Wilson is on good terms with Thunderbolt Ross because they both come from the military. They have a pretty good working relationship. But during this conversation, when he's telling him he wants to restart Captain America as an official military position like it used to be during World War II, just like Steve Rogers' Captain America started out, and he asks him back, what happens if we have a disagreement? Like, how are we going to deal with this? That's meant to be a bit of an eye wink at him going against Red Hulk during the movie. What happens if you turn into a giant 10-foot red rage monster? This footage of him addressing the public here with the signs up just seems like it's him at a big rally after he's won the election. Notice the signage says together. Part of the idea is like he's trying to get Sam Wilson to join quote unquote his team, like bring Captain America under his purview again, even though it kind of already is, technically. It's part of the larger idea of how they brought the Avengers under government oversight during the events of Captain America's Civil War. A lot of their conversation that they're having is also about what happens if he reforms the Avengers, because during that conversation, even though you don't hear it in this teaser trailer, in the CinemaCon footage, Thunderbolt Ross was asking him to restart the Avengers as well, to like pick a new Avengers team, and he's basically telling him that it'll be a team that will listen to what Thunderbolt Ross tells them to do. That's what Sam Wilson is really talking about when he says, what happens if we have a disagreement? He's trying to remember the events of Captain America Civil War, like what if something like that happens again? That's also why they cut the footage of all these authorities running through, looking like they're getting ready to arrest someone, while you see him say, you and I haven't always agreed in the past. Because very shortly, they're not going to agree on something. If it wasn't clear, all the people in suits running here are meant to be Secret Service. It's not clear where Sam Wilson is in this footage here, but the door closing behind him is red. There are a lot of red reminders in this. It's meant to be sly winks at the idea of Thunderbolt Ross becoming Red Hulk during the movie. This looks like it's on a military ship in the middle of some mission that they happen to be on. Kind of like Captain America Winter Soldier, you pick up with them on an actual mission. Even though there's red dots on this plane, that makes you think of Red Hulk as well too. That makes me think of China, so maybe these are Chinese planes. This woman that it seems like he's interrogating is meant to be a former Black Widow played by Shira Haas. I don't know what her name in the context of the movie is going to be, but she's now working for Thunderbolt Ross and has his trust as part of his inner circle, so that's probably why she's being interrogated after this attack by Isaiah Bradley. Natasha Black Widow was very critical to Steve Rogers' character in those Captain America movies. Not clear if we're going to see Yelena Belova at any point during this, because she's kind of taken over the persona of Black Widow inside the MCU. Right now in present day, she's mostly thought of as a Thunderbolts character, like we saw her in that teaser trailer they released earlier this year. It looks like he's in his Captain America suit during this interrogation. When he's talking about disagreeing about how to manage a situation, the situation in the trailer, as you see, winds up becoming Isaiah Bradley's character going crazy, seemingly being controlled Winter Soldier. So like this will remind you of Captain America Winter Soldier, with Bucky being controlled with the Hydra programming. Normally people would instantly go to Hydra for that, but it might have something to do with what the leader is doing during the movie. We get our first shot of Giancarlo Esposito in the trailer. He's supposed to be playing GW Bridge from X-Force and Six Pack in the comics. X-Men based teams, essentially, like from the X-Men side of the comics. We already have Adamantium going on during the movie, so there's a lot of X-Men related stuff happening in the background of this too. GW Bridge's character was also a big part of S.H.I.E.L.D. for a long time too, so that might be the case during this movie. They haven't really explained what his character is going to be doing, other than it seems like he'll be going after Sam Wilson, Captain America. What might be happening if he's not evil, like if he's not a villain during the movie, is that President Thunderbolt Ross will just have him go after Sam Wilson's Captain America. This seems like it's happening in the middle of whatever attack is happening that Captain America is part of. Notice the battleship that it seems like Captain America is on during this is near Tiamat, that giant dead celestial in the Indian Ocean. You can actually see it in the background jutting up out of the ocean. They're finally addressing, if it wasn't clear, that's what this is in the background. It's the dead celestial. Supposedly, they're going to find adamantium on that, and it'll be sort of a race for all these different countries around the world to try and claim all those precious resources, particularly the adamantium. The way they end their conversation, it also kind of sounds like Thunderbolt Ross is telling him, work with me, Sam, or else, ... This seems like it's happening during that fight with GW Bridge. Then we see them in the middle of this briefing with Thunderbolt Ross in the middle of this circular display talking about the recent mission. I think this has to do with the adamantium subplot. It seems that there are a bunch of other important government and military officials there, as well as Isaiah Bradley. Notice on the map there are two big circles that they have highlighted. There's a yellow circle in the middle of the United States and one in the middle of what looks like France. Then there's another yellow circle that you kind of can't see here behind the lights just because of the way it's obscured, that seems closer to India near the actual dead celestial. So it just seems that they're talking about what just happened during Captain America's recent mission. Isaiah Bradley then goes full Winter Soldier, like he's being controlled by someone else. Someone else has programmed his mind. Notice we also see Torres during this too. Like I said, he's become the new Falcon during the events of this. And even though it seems like he's trying to assassinate the president and a bunch of other important people, part of the idea is that Hydra is supposed to have been destroyed a long time ago. So the next big question is, if Hydra is gone, who programmed him? Like, who's actually trying to get him to do this? Like I said, it might have something to do with what the leader is doing during the events of the movie, because it seems like he's behind a lot of the craziness. RIP to some of those Secret Service people that he winds up taking out. Also a good reminder that he has the super soldier serum inside his body still, so even though he's an old man, he's still very, very powerful. Him jumping out the window should also remind you of Captain America Winter Soldier when Steve Rogers was going after Winter Soldier and they both jumped out that window. Then it seems like Thunderbolt Ross, Sam Wilson, everybody goes down to the bunker underneath the White House. I think that's where this is meant to be, in that secret bunker. There actually is one inside the real White House, though. It seems like they're still working together. He tries to tell him that his inner circle has been compromised. They're trying to figure out why Isaiah Bradley did this. We see them doing a bit of snooping. There's a couple radar dishes with red lights on them. Another reminder of Red Hulk. Like, there's so many Red Hulk teasers during this. We see Sam Wilson and Torres in a special facility looking around. Like, you see him with his Captain America shield. They're trying to find something. Not clear where they are or what's going on here. This place might be where the leader has been doing a lot of his work. This looks like the chair where he programmed Isaiah Bradley. It's meant to evoke a lot of imagery from Captain America Winter Soldier in the chair that Bucky was in when Hydra was programming him. But you see all the red lights behind it, making you think that this is where the leader is also working on turning Thunderbolt Ross into Red Hulk. It just seems like this lab belongs to the leader character. We get a little better look around the lab too, like he said, someone strapped to the table here while he's been messing with them. Torres then asks him in another scene, what if it's a trap? Yes, it's probably a trap. It's probably the leader's trap. This fight scene seems like it's with the G.W. Bridges character and his men. But notice Anthony Mackie is still in a white Captain America suit, not the same one that he has later in the trailer. So we will have a couple of costume changes during the movie. This final one, I think, is the vibranium version. That flip kick move is also one that he did during Captain America Civil War. Then we get a rear shot of what looks like the leader character on the phone. Like, they don't want to actually show his face, but he is meant to look green like comic book leader during the movie. It's not clear who he's talking to. He's probably talking to Sam Wilson's Captain America character, but he says global power is shifting. The way that he described the leader during the movie is that he's really angry about all the things that have happened to him since the events of the Incredible Hulk movie and feels like the US government owes him a lot, and during the movie he's taking what he thinks he's owed. So I think part of what's going on here is that the leader has his own agenda and he kind of goes rogue during the movie, but before this he's been working for the US government, like he's been working for President Thunderbolt Ross on projects, quote unquote. Maybe on Weapons Plus projects. We see the two of them at night in a truck taking out his Captain America shield. This looks like them investigating one of the secret labs or something during the middle of the night when they see those radar dishes. During this photo op at the White House, this hand also looks a little bit green too, so this might be the leader character in disguise, watching this all go down. It seems like he's telling Sam Wilson he's just a pawn in all this, like you're a small fish. As we see more of that battle that seems like it's happening at the Tiamat Dead Celestial. This new female character I think is meant to be his new love interest during the movie. There's a funeral scene. It's not clear who it's a funeral for because it seems like there's a lot of people there. They also brought the Betty Ross character, Liv Tyler's Betty Ross, back from Incredible Hulk, and she's at the funeral too. There's only a couple people she would probably show up to a funeral for, and one of them would be her father, President Thunderbolt Ross. Maybe they tried to play it like he's killed during the events of the movie and then brought back as Red Hulk. Generally, a lot of Hulk-based stuff is going to be in this movie, mostly from the Incredible Hulk movie. This seems like it's happening at the leader's lab, like we saw earlier, but a bunch of these men, maybe they're working for the leader, try to stop him, but their gear kind of looks like military gear. So like I said, the leader might have had this secret base on the purview of Thunderbolt Ross, like he might have been working for Thunderbolt Ross in this place. This is also a good way to show you that Captain America's vibranium shield dissipates energy. This seems like it's another fight with the G.W. Bridge character, Giancarlo Esposito. Not clear what kind of fight is going down during this scene. Notice the blue and red in the background here. That's meant to be a reference to Captain America, Sam Wilson versus Red Hulk, Thunderbolt Ross. We see him outside giving the address to a bunch of people. Then we get that big moment where he tells them down in the bunker underneath after the big attack has just gone down that he's not Steve Rogers, and he tries to tell him, no, I'm not. Like basically he's trying to tell him I'm my own person, like I'm my own version of Captain America. Don't compare me to Steve Rogers. As we see them during a big battle scene, panning up with him in his new vibranium Captain America suit that looks just like Steve Rogers' last Captain America suit. I think the idea is that he's supposed to be given this vibranium wingsuit from Shuri. She might have a small role during the movie. This seems like him escaping the leader's base or whatever's going on here. All the red lights, like I said, just reminding you more Red Hulk stuff. Then we see him flying past Tiamat, that dead Celestial, in his new vibranium wingsuit. Notice he also has a special helmet that he wears on it too. I am sure there's all kinds of little toys and weapons that he also has inside this too. Notice throughout the trailer too, and with the title at the end, they have the black and white glitching look, like there's some kind of programming or some kind of signal. I think that's meant to be a reference to the programming that Isaiah Bradley has gotten during the movie. Early theory, like I said, it might have something to do with what the leader is doing. This scene with like a whole side of the White House exploding seems like it might be Red Hulk in the middle of this causing this damage. And we see a side shot of him at the end of the trailer throwing down Captain America's shield. So this is part of some big battle they have outside. Couple big comic book connections here too. The leader character was part of the intelligentsia in the comics. In the comics, it was the intelligentsia that turned Thunderbolt Ross into Red Hulk. But a big part of the way they did that involved a big fight with the actual Bruce Banner version of Hulk. So it's not totally clear if Bruce Banner Hulk is going to appear during this movie. Mark Ruffalo made it sound like he wasn't in the movie, but he might have been lying. What'll probably happen, because we just got that teaser for Red Hulk at the end of this trailer, is that we'll see a much better version of him in the next big trailer, like a full-on frontal shot. Full frontal Red Hulk action. When it comes to all the Hugh Jackman Wolverine, Weapon X, Adamantium stuff, I think they're just laying the track for a new MCU version of Wolverine. Hugh Jackman is still supposed to be the main version of Wolverine through at least Secret Wars. He might stick around even a little bit longer than that, but Marvel is making their new solo X-Men movie with like new versions of the characters inside the MCU eventually. That probably won't happen till after Secret Wars, and they do a big soft reboot on the MCU just in general. Supposedly they're not going to recast Wolverine and introduce a new MCU version till well after that, so like the new version of Wolverine will not debut in that new X-Men movie. So what they can do in this movie is just lay the track work for Weapon X to actually become a thing by introducing the concept of adamantium in the MCU. But there's so many Easter eggs and references going on during this. If there's anything you spotted in the trailer footage that I didn't talk about in the video, just write them below in the comments and I'll add them in my next bonus videos. There's a bunch of big stuff coming up. We'll get Deadpool and Wolverine really soon too. That is going to be jam-packed with Easter eggs and references, mostly X-Men based references, but also a lot of clowning on the MCU just in general, because it is Deadpool. Speaking of Hulk-related stuff, click here for my Deadpool and Wolverine Hulk video, and click here for my House the Dragon Season 2 episode.
Welcome, anime enthusiasts, to Squad
Okay,
Nero,
so
the
after
ultimate
watching that,
destination
y'all,
for
what's y'all thoughts?
I'm not gonna lie, I'm fucking with the can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say I'm not gonna lie, after listening to that, like the breakdown, I'm kind of fucking with the adamantium aspect and the fact that they like using the celestial as like, okay, this is like a natural resource that people are trying to get this new material from. And it's a lot to play off on that. So I'm glad they're not rushing into it with like the Weapon X and things like that. So I don't know, it's cool to have, you know, a more earth-based storyline where they're not like saving the world and shit, you know, from what I got.
Well, my whole thing is I really enjoy the fact that, yeah, we're getting adamantium, but it's not like they're pushing the idea, because as he said later on, he gets a vibranium suit from probably Shuri. So it's not like we're getting like gun ho boom. We're getting adamantium. We're getting Project X. Everything like it's gonna give us time to ease our way into that, because we do. They might make a reference to it at the end of the Deadpool Wolverine movie, where maybe a little bit of adamantium ends up in one of their hands and they try and recreate it. Could start that, because Wolverine is from a different timeline, a different variant. That could set up the new Wolverine. But at the same time, it's like I just need them to portray this correctly in the time that they have. Because if we get a banger and they explain and like they do like a maybe a cut scene like leading into Captain America, it needs to flow to the point where it's not like they gonna have to retcon something, or they gonna have to spend something to work for them to say like this is the actual storyline. This is what really is happening.
Yeah.
I'm really thoroughly enjoying the direction that they have taken in um this movie, it seems, where they did all these reshoots and folks were scared and everything like that, but these trailers actually look like good stuff. I will have to rewatch Winter Soldier because I guess, or Soldier, because I guess I think he brought it up in this video where it was kind of giving vibes how Isaiah Bradley jumped out the window and everything like that. I got to rewatch Winter
Yeah.
Soldier to really understand the gravity that movie had in and of itself, just being a solo superhero film technically. Even no, Black Panther was in there too, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was in Civil War.
Winter Soldier.
Yeah,
Not
he
Winter
was in Winter
Soldier. He was in
Soldier.
Civil War.
Oh
Okay,
yeah, Civil
Because
War.
Civil War.
Winter Soldier, they introduced Bucky and everything, and then Civil War, they brought in Bucky because that's when they ended up catching him and arresting him,
Okay.
and that's when he's like, "Oh, you gonna side with your friend and not me, that whose dad he killed."
Yeah. Man, I'd have to rewatch it, but I'm really thoroughly liking it. I think they're gonna do us justice. I think they gotta, which could segue into a different, but I know we got that other video as well that we can watch on the Red Hulk's powers. But is the MCU, are they actually going to make this comeback? Because I think off rip, I think Deadpool Wolverine at minimum is going to be an 8. At max could possibly be pushing 9.5, possibly pushing the 10.
I'm gonna be honest. From looking at everything leading up to it, I get you. You're saying an 8, 9.5. Nah, honestly, they have to come correct because Deadpool 1, that was a 8.5. Deadpool 2, that was about 9.5. They have to be in that 9-10 realm. Even if 9 is the lowest score, they have to be in that realm because you can't backslide after having two great movies. You can't do that.
True.
Especially
But
with
But I mean, it's always like that for the third movie, though. It's always like the first movie is good, second movie could be great. It's like the third movies where niggas just be, I don't know. It's like they try to do too much and they slip up. But I mean, you right though, T. They gotta come correct for
But the
this.
thing is, they're doing everything right. They're giving us Deadpool and Wolverine together, buddy comedy, along with being able to use this to reshape the MCU correctly so that it pans out better for the viewers going forward with so much stuff that they crapped out over the last 2-3 years. That's my whole thought on it. Like literally, you're already starting to push the envelope. You're bringing people back. This is supposed to reset the timeline. We're getting rid of Fox X-Men, but at the same time, we're keeping some pieces to it that people loved and enjoyed. And they're like I said, they're pushing on Deadpool and Wolverine, which everyone been wanting to see since Deadpool 2. They wanted to see at least some hint of it in Deadpool 2. And honestly, I'm hoping this is not a finale for Deadpool because you still have Deadpool and Spider-Man. You still have Deadpool with many different range of characters. That's why honestly I feel with him being a part of the TVA, it goes back to like our early on episode, which y'all was fighting me on, how moving forward, what do we do about the whole cameo with Stan Lee? You can use Deadpool as the cameo since he's a part of the TVA. He can jump in and out of timelines. You can do that. Let him like cause a joke or something. Deadpool is always seen in different outfits, different clothing, different forms. It can work, and we can have like Ryan Reynolds doing this for years. Even if they like done with him being a full length Deadpool, he could just be in costume, say something stupid, and then move on.
I don't think he's in an ending anytime soon.
I know he's not
Yeah.
ending anytime soon, but I'm saying he can play that Stan Lee cameo role. That's what I'm saying. That honestly, that's one thing that's always missing. Even in a bad Marvel movie, they always had good cameos from Stan Lee. I can say
Yeah.
that.
They couldn't do wrong with that mask. They couldn't do wrong to that mask, and they was right on that. But I think
I think
so
B
from your
first.
estimation, it'll be like 9 to 10,
It has to be
possibly.
a
Now
9 to
he's
10.
9 to 10 for Deadpool Wolverine. Agatha Harkness, that trailer actually caught me off guard. I think that might be I want to say the high point right now, safely, if I'm being honest, probably like a 8. The low point probably like a
Have you?
5 out of 10.
Did you watch the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina?
No.
That's the vibe I'm getting from with this Agatha all along show.
So
Um,
would that constitute as a high rating or a
yes,
low
a
one?
very high
A high
rating
one.
because Sabrina, the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina was fire. It was
Okay.
fire from start to finish. It lagged a little bit in between, but it still kept the flow.
Hmm.
Um, Probably one of my favorite characters. Rest in peace, homeboy that played Ambrose. He also did you watch Gen V?
Yeah.
He played the character for
Light skin dude.
yeah, the one that with the polarity powers.
Yeah.
So rest in peace, homie. Um, but I really hi hi.
What do they?
Um, I'm,
Eh.
I'm working.
You working?
Yes, I'm working.
You working?
Yeah, I'll see you in a little bit. But like I was saying, like it gave me what was the clap for?
Great father activities. You love to see it.
Yo, this
Give it
nigga
another.
Rob.
I love to see it, man. I love to see it.
I can't stand you.
Yeah.
I hope you step on a tack.
Wow. I'll give
You
it
know what? I'm sorry.
compliments.
I'm
That's
sorry. I'm
crazy.
sorry. I hope you step on a Lego.
I'll give it compliments. I'm still getting attacked. That's nuts. How that makes sense.
It is what it is. It's life.
It is what it is. But yeah, Agatha Harkness. So we thinking. So from your estimations, if it's drawing similarities to that show that you said earlier, we thinking that it's gonna be some good
Yeah.
type shit like 8, 9.
Pre- Plus, it got Aubrey Plaza.
Yeah,
Plus, it
Yeah.
got Aubrey Plaza.
I'm
Just saying.
I'm really thinking this movie, like Rob said. I mean, I don't know if y'all can hear me
Yeah,
because
we
my
can
Yeah.
hear
shit
you.
just been going all over the place. Oh, like T said, like with the Deadpool's being an 8 in this, and Deadpool 2 being like a 9. I feel like these Captain America movies have gotten better, like with each one. Like Civil War, Winter Soldier, Civil War. With this one, granted, it's not going to be Chris Evans playing Steve Rogers, but like I like the politics and like how they going against like the government and shit like that. I feel like this movie got the potential to be like at least a 9.
At
Yeah.
least a 9. That's how it's looking, man. And
Bro,
we was all scared of that shit before.
because look at all these references that he was pointing out. Emergency Awesome was pointing out about Red Hulk and the leader like operating in the shadows. Like, what's that one nigga name from Invincible? That's working with Cecil creating all those reanimin.
What is that, man? It's like an acronym at first, or like he
Yeah,
abbreviated.
I forget his name, but it's like, damn, if the leader really working on doing all this stuff for people, he's like, yo, if some shit ever go wrong, I got something for the president ass. I'll turn his ass into the Hulk. Because, I mean, ain't that how he got that big old head anyway from the Hulk's blood getting on him
D-
or the serum getting on him?
yeah, D.A. Sinclair.
Yeah, D ain't Sinclair. Like, we ain't seen the leader or the nigga that's supposed to be playing the leader since 2000 and what? 2010?
Yeah,
When that Hulk movie came out. So they can be like, yo, he's been in the shadows for
working.
the past 15 years. Oh, damn, it's going to be 20 some years. I forgot they got that 5-year time jump, too.
Yeah, working.
Been
Or is
waiting.
Man.
the
ready to make
MCU
his
all
move.
caught up in time with us now? Like, are we caught up with the MCU in terms of time now, or are they still 5 years ahead of us for some reason?
I think they're still 5 years ahead of us.
I believe so. Yeah.
Oh,
I
so
can't
yeah, that
remember
means
how
he been working on Super Soldier bullshit for 20 years now. So he ready to pop out.
Mm-hmm.
he been cooking this whole time. So we saying from our estimations, from what I'm hearing from y'all, we thinking Deadpool somewhere between a 9 and a 10. Agatha show, Agatha All Along, I believe it's called, between a 9 and 10, and the damn Captain America joint between a damn near 9 and 10.
It's
If
like
they hit,
they have to.
This gonna be crazy, dog. They gonna have a whole different level of swing back in comparison to what they did before, because they only had a specific amount of characters that they could pull from in an instance. Now they have a multitude
Right.
of characters that they could just dive in, they could use. I feel like they're gonna start using the route of just having more team ups, because I feel like in the comics that's usually how it is, where it's not like a Avengers level team up, but it's kind of like a Spider-Man and a Deadpool, like you were saying,
Mm-hmm.
um, like a Wolverine and
Yeah.
Spider-Man, or a Wolverine versus the Hulk. Like imagine they did a fucking movie like that. That'd be fucking cold.
Mm-hmm.
But I think they taking a different step. I'm glad that they trying to, whatever they did, or we know what they did. They slowed down the production of these films, or at least the availability of these films to the public in comparison of how they've been doing before. So 3 movies a year. I think only like a couple shows a year as well. One of them being Daredevil. Can't wait to see that. But it seems like they have got back into that swing of things when they were creating that first 3 Avengers movies outside of possibly Age of Ultron.
Mm.
So, but I think that they might even take it a whole nother level too, especially if you bring back the OG characters like a Robert Downey Jr. and not just in the same role, but like a different role. So like imagine the evil Iron Man type of thing or a superior Iron Man. Like that'd be cool to see. Like different aspects, like Captain America if he was taken over by Hydra type of thing, Chris Evans, or the Human Torch version of Chris Evans. Um, it would
That'd be
just be
cold.
dope. It'd be dope, and it bring back so much nostalgia that it will automatically trump all of that stuff. Cause we
Mm-hmm.
remember what Tony did before, but we don't know this type of Tony. And we don't know what he's capable of, and we don't even
Facts.
know who the evil villain is at this present point in time. It could be Doctor Doom, it could be Kang still, it could be somebody else. Like who knows? And on top of that, they got multitude of stories that they've been building up subtly between us, like the acts, the Avengers versus X-Men versus Eternals.
Mm-hmm.
Like they got that in the bag with the next movie with the Eternals, just off of how they did that because of the Eternal or the
Well,
Celestial coming down telling them that they were there for judgment.
well, that's the thing. How long have they been sitting there waiting for judgment? Because I don't see. My thing is that some of the actors, especially Homeboy that plays Paperboy in Atlanta, I haven't seen no speculation of him like continuing on with Eternals, like or
Hmm.
even any talks of them coming back for even just to be a part of a movie. Not maybe not an Eternals movie, but to be a part of like maybe Avengers or any other character where they just show up. Like it, Eternals is literally hanging by a thread right now.
I
Since
don't think so.
you think they come back with Eternals too?
I think they're just waiting because in that event that they're trying to do, the key component in there is the X-Men. Because even though the Avengers is powerful as hell, I believe technically in sheer strength, the X-Men are just OP as hell and sheer abilities
Yeah,
and the
yeah,
things that they can
Omega
do.
level niggas.
And those are a key component because those were I think in the comic book story, the X-Men were a crucial component. And that made them the target because the Eternals was sent there because technically they're a deviation from what the human species is supposed to be. So the Eternals are supposed to take those out.
Mm.
And then you add in a celestial as well on top of that, where now we creeping up the power scaling in which you naturally have to do if you introducing all of these super powerful ass characters. You need a counterbalance to it. What better way to use the celestials versus and the Eternals versus the X-Men versus the Avengers, and just let the Eternals chill out for a little bit. You could bring in that other character that they teased at the end of the damn Eternals movie. I can't remember his name, but
Oh,
I think he's gonna be,
Harry Styles character.
yeah. I can't remember what his name was. I think I know his power, but I can't necessarily remember off the top of my head. But Thanos' brother, I believe. Nonetheless, I think they let the Eternals sit there for a little bit. cook up the X-Men. Let everybody know the powers. Let everybody know these people and everything. Their backstories or a good, great story to start off with for their characters, type of thing. And then you bring back the Eternals, and now all hell break loose. After the X-Men just got done fucking dealing with Magneto because he wanted to kill off the whole human race or goddamn the humans or the Sentinels or something like that. Now they gotta face the Eternals. It just be a perfect time. It's they cooking up something for the future and for right now.
Mm.
I'm pretty excited. We ain't even see Fantastic Four yet, which I think will depending on the trailer because they keeping shut about that thing. It's no leaks. I don't believe no rumors. All like that. We don't know who the main villain is. I don't believe.
Yep.
I have to research that again. I might be wrong, but man, they doing something special right now. Leading up to this in Secret Wars, this might be the best comic book run we have ever seen. Comic book live action run we have ever seen in our lifetimes.
At the end of the day, I just need them to stick to the source material. I'm gonna be honest, like, cause with Captain America, Anthony Mackie's character, there's a lot of good Captain America comics with him, and they have the source material for it. They just need to follow through and not come up with their own stuff. You know what I mean?
I think they'll take some liberties because you can't necessarily take it one for one.
No,
It's a
no, no.
different
I understand
adaptation.
that. I'm just saying to a certain degree
Damn, what is up with my phone?
because even with like going back the Thor movie, Gorda Butcher was not like that. They didn't really show him doing much. You
Yeah,
feel what I'm saying?
I think Kevin Feige having a more direct role in it is gonna stick more closely to the comic books because I think that's what he did before, and I think outside of like you could say the Thor movies,
Mm-hmm.
um, most of the movies were somewhat took comic book roots, but then interloped it. I don't know if that's the correct term.
The
It might be.
last Thor movie they did not at all.
Yeah, in the Thor movies
No.
they didn't. Probably the closest one you'd say is Thor 3, which I personally is my favorite. But even at that, it fell on quite a few
Yeah.
things. But we got that Red Hulk video if you want to watch that.
Yeah. No.
Pull that
Let's
one
let's
up.
let's move on from that. To be honest,
Oh, okay.
since we had a good talk on the trailer and everything, Red Hulk Origin Powers Comic Explained. We recommend highly everyone going to watch that. If you still have thoughts about who Red Hulk is, if you never read the comic books for him, um, but yeah. Um, next we had what was JJK dropping today, and now we're back on a 2 week hiatus.
Yes, indeed.
So especially this week, I was kind of impressed with how it's going because the way, even though I've like listened to videos on spoilers and stuff, it's kind of dope seeing how the direction that they're going in with this and how it seems like they're doing every which like everything in their power to ensure that um Sakuna does not recover, even though he's finding every which way to recover. Especially when Homeboy punched him and the finger fell out and he threw it back in his mouth so he can keep his powers. And you could see Yuji sitting there using this mantle to separate the souls and how they're like breaking this man down piece by piece by piece. Granted, it's taking way too long, but I like the way that they're going with this. Especially they're trying to find every which way to trick Sakuna so that he doesn't stop every plan that they have set up. Especially when um before Purple didn't really wasn't really truly successful, but right before in the last comic how they pulled in the little walkie talkie and what was it, Inomaki,
Yeah.
and he Inomaki yelled "Don't move" and it was directed for Sakuna, and in that moment he was able to try and land a purple. But it wasn't truly successful, we can see that they're trying every which way, every trick in the book, everything that they can try and find to lock this man down. Especially when near the end of this issue, you see Toto hit his curse technique, the boogie woogie, and call homegirl in and hit him with the Jacob's ladder. Granted, we got 2 weeks to see if it was like truly successful, but for something like that to happen and for him to pull that off, that was ridiculously good.
I think it's about to be crazy. Uh, they just announced that it's in the final arc now. So this Shinjuku joint wasn't even the final arc. So if that's the case, we already know where this is going. Well, we have a general idea of where this is going. I think I know where this is going. And I think they did a good job with the timing and the pacing of everything, to be honest. Because, well, you think he took out the most powerful nigga out of all of them little niggas. Like,
Oh
it's a
yeah.
couple of them little niggas that they'll have to team up in order to beat Gojo. And
Mm-hmm.
Gojo was the big dog on the fucking campus, and he got smacked. So it had to take, and his fight wasn't even that long. So it had to take these little niggas a multitude of things in order for them to do this. A multitude of sorcerers in order to team up and take out specific parts of Sukuna's game plan or make it a little bit more difficult. Multiple people had to sacrifice themselves just in order to try and get a one up on this man. So I think it took the necessary amount of time, and now we see that shit was all for a reason. It's all working now. Sakuna still ain't even regenerated his two left hands because he's
Mm-hmm.
using his cursed energy to pump his heart right now, and he can't use his curse technique either because he just expended his domain expansion. And that boy Yuji is looking like really getting a handle on his shit too. And it's only a matter of time before he has to become that demon because nobody else at this point in time, I don't think, will be able to fight after this.
Honestly, Yuji finally having his moment is like Goku turning Super Saiyan for the first time. Like, we know you nice, but we know you have the ability to get nicer. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So he's going to have his Super Saiyan moment soon. Like, yeah, he's been leveling up, doing different abilities, taking on Sakuna, like most of Sakuna's stuff, but that's because of the backstory of how his body was pretty much made for that. You know what I mean? But
Hmm.
now he just needs to have that moment to step up and get his yellow hair.
Hey man,
They,
Sakuna probably damn near on death's door after after that Jacob's ladder. How that man had that man convulsing, had it had that man convulsing. It wasn't even a maximum output last time. It was just a regular old Jacob's ladder.
oh yeah,
And that nigga started spinning and tweaking all over the place and everything like that. Now, boy, I tell you, this maximum output had the whole city block, had the damn near the whole manga panel covered in white.
yes sir.
His ass is gonna be on death's door. Yuji gonna deal that final blow, but just in the nick of time, he gonna utter the words, bring back that merger monster. I think Megami will actually assist him, and I think all that time of him being in or Sukuna being in his body, I think he would have seen different ways to use his technique to be able to assist Yuji. But I think still at the end of the day, Yuji will be the only one to be able to step up to this man because right now, this nigga looks like a monster.
Mm-hmm.
But JJK, we got a 2 week hiatus. Kind of let
Now,
it breathe and everything like that.
now with the boys, man, man, they did they thug thistle with this last episode. They thug thistle,
Yeah, but-
especially that ending scene with the shapeshifter.
yeah.
I've been doing research on the shapeshifter. Apparently, the shapeshifter could have been Huey's mother,
Yeah, that's what I was saying too.
especially because you gotta think about it. His mom wouldn't have
She got
put
the
that
makeup
serum on.
line.
Yeah,
Yeah.
working for Vought makeup line. We know that she put the serum in there. I don't think his real mother would have put that serum in there. I'm gonna be honest. And for her to pop up out the blue and all that good stuff, unless she'd been playing the long game and talking to Huey's father before then. You know what I mean?
That could have been Sage's spy because it seemed like Sage already knew about this character and probably already been working with her quite some time. Do you think Sage is gonna switch sides? Random question.
Yes.
I
Yes.
think so
I
as
feel
well
that
too.
happening. And Sage, you think Sage is going to die, but she's not. I feel like Homelander going to try and lobotomy her, or something's going to happen where she gets dumb, but her brain's going to regenerate, and she'll just like pimp off into the sunset. But I have a strong feeling A Train's not going to die now.
You don't think so?
I don't think so.
I don't think so as well either. I think he's gonna have his redemption arc. I think he's been doing pretty good on his redemption arc. Obviously, he's still got some kinks to work out. I think it's still a little toxic, but he probably on edge with everything that he been doing behind everybody back and everything like that. So that's understandable. I'm really liking Frenchies and just all the
Kimiko,
side characters. Kimiko, Mother's Milk, Annie, everybody. And
Huey,
I don't
Huey and
know
the
if
broken
they
son. He's still
necessarily
broken.
did this in previous seasons. I can't remember off the top of my head. I have to rewatch them.
Yep.
But I think that they're interweaving all of these stories in such an impeccable fashion where I feel like even though we might cut off to different scenes and everything like that and we might still have questions, it still keeps you engaged thoroughly throughout the entire episode.
So my question is this: since we're coming to a close on season 4, are we getting season 2 of Gen V, or is that just going to die out since Homeboy passed away and they said
I
that they're done shooting indefinitely for right now?
I think
Because then that would mean that the boys gets pushed back to 2026 if that's the case. But part of me thinks that they're probably going to try and push it.
they have already started. It was renewed for a second season on Prime Video. Production began in May 2024 with cast members Derek Lowe and Lizzie Broadway sharing set photos on social media. However, production was delayed after the death of star Chance
Mm,
Perdomo. That was his name, RIP, in a
yep.
motorcycle accident. In response, producers announced that they would not recast Perdomo's role, but would instead change the season 2 storylines to honor him.
Yeah.
Shouldn't be as a college
I
man.
can see them like doing something where they write him off in a sense where he tried to like they tried to experiment on somebody and he jumped in and they took him out.
I think it'll be the fact that they did experiment on him and subsequently killed him in the process, type of thing.
Yeah.
And that whole season is that I can't remember the black girl's name, the black lady's name, the main character, but it's like her redemption story to get back. Because I think
Mm-hmm.
he was a pretty cool character for the most part.
Yeah, he
I think
was.
he had his faults, but he was a pretty cool character nonetheless. Yeah, so I think they're gonna drop that Gen Z, and I think after they're gonna do the boys the final season. I think that Gen V might come out next year if they, I don't know how long reshoots or like editing will work. I think I could see it dropping late next year,
2025. Yeah.
and then the boys dropping after that.
Yeah, I
If
think
they're
if they
smart,
do it right, early 2026 or spring 2026,
yeah.
that would be smart. Or summer 2026, which I wouldn't be mad at.
I would strike while the iron is hot. To be honest with you.
So what are you saying?
So
If they finish all the reshoots and everything, drop them both at two different points in 2025.
Drop Gen V late 2025, drop the boys early 2026.
So go back to back to keep the story going.
Back to back to keep the story going. Then it's gonna be the ending. You already got people interested. They probably gonna do mad cliffhangers, mad Easter eggs to the boys, mad different things that's probably gonna set up the boys' final season. Especially because if what we think is gonna happen in this final episode was just spoiler alert if you haven't watched it, don't listen to what I'm saying. Just mute yourself and I'll give you the thumbs up when we're done. But if it ends how we think it's gonna happen with Homelander taking over the United States, then this timeline after, which I'm guessing season 2 is gonna happen right after this season of The Boys. Um, all hell is gonna be breaking loose, nationwide, worldwide, at that
Mm,
point in time.
well,
So
what messes me up with this whole thing is with Gen V season 2, they were left in that downstairs facility,
mhm.
and they were going to be running experiments on them for that drug, and they explained that the drug would only work on a cosmic level, more of a pandemic level, to take everybody out. So how do they explain that, or do they get loose later on, or do they meet up with Butcher at the end to set up the last season where everybody comes together? Possibility, which I understand striking while the iron is hot, but if you're going to combine them for the boys the last season, where we only get Gen V for 2 seasons, then you would have to push that back to like summer 2026 if that's the case. Like if you want to have everybody in there, you know
You
what I mean?
think so?
I if they play it right, let's say they get loose, I feel like at the end of Gen V season 2, we see them escaping the facility, or midway through, and they meet up with Butcher and Mother's Milk and everybody, and they're working
I
on a
think
plan.
I think they escaping early in that motherfucker. To be honest with you,
And pretty much the whole show is them on the run until they run into Butcher and them.
cause it's an internment camp. That's what they were saying. That's what was the things that the other dominatrix nigga, whatever he was
Uh,
into.
um, uh, Tex
Tech Knight,
Tech Knight.
Tech Knight. Yeah, that's what he was doing. That's what the kids were in, one of those internment camps type of thing. So I don't think they're experimenting on that virus in order to kill them, because the only person that could work on that was Samir,
Yep.
because he was the only one that had knowledge on it. And now Frenchie technically, because he got Kimiko's leg, but he's the only one with that knowledge, and we don't know where the hell he's gonna be at this present point in time, or if even if he's gonna make it that far with this
So do you
fucking
think
leg.
Kimiko can regenerate her leg?
Oh yeah, most definitely. I seen
Bro,
her
I
jump out
felt
a
I felt
multi-story.
bro, I felt bad for her in that scene, man. Homeboy was trying to like really help him out. Like, we're gonna have you escape. We're gonna let you go after you're done. Da da da. And then he just like stabbed Kimiko with the. I'm like, come on, son.
And he got kidnapped and got his leg. And then he knew that they was about to use it on his girl too, on the mother of his child. I can't blame him in that instance. He probably should have talked it out still, but or heard him out, but I can't blame him.
Yeah. But with that being said, yeah, the final season coming in 3 days, 4 days. We're gonna have some stuff to talk about next episode. It's gonna get crazy. What we plan to speculate, it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard.
Are we doing the episode next
Yeah,
week?
we got to.
Okay.
That
All right,
that's
so we
the
might
setup for DreamCon. That's
yeah,
pure setup.
we might as well wait for the Dream Conjunct for next episode then.
Yeah.
All right though. We still got the Red Hawk video if you want to watch it. Just saying.
Nah, we could push that back.
All
We
right
could push
then.
that back. But with that being said, we do appreciate everybody for coming through. Sage, thank you for the community sub you sent to Kaito. Appreciate it.
No problemo.
You can subscribe yourself, but I can see where you living at. No, 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 no. Don't hit it. Don't hit it. Don't hit it. I'm just saying you can just get NCAA and then we can call it even on that one.
All right, bro.
You like what I did there. But yeah, D for those wondering where he went, bad connection, but he will be back next Sunday, along with Niall, Crocco's Corner. I'm your boy T Smooth, and that's Sage. That direction. Go ahead, end it off, Sage. Call it for what it
All
is.
right. We'll catch y'all at another time. Actually, I'm about to start streaming as well. So if you want to pop over to twitch.tv/Sage Taka, Taka, Me and T actually about to start playing, and Jep Sting's about to start playing some Elden Ring. Um, Try and grind that joint out real quick, pause, and have some fun. But we appreciate y'all again for popping out here, giving us some views, chatting with us again. We gonna give y'all a great pre-DreamCon stream next week. Get y'all excited, get y'all ready for all the things that we got in store. We got a RSVP to some events, I guess, tomorrow. So we all about to be locked in. Again, appreciate y'all. And y'all have a good night. See y'all on Elder Ring.